Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm Philip Duncan with your weekend weather update and the outlook for next week. We've got a storm on the way next week in the Southern Ocean. It's going to bring in some severe weather, so we'll talk about that shortly. Let's kick off with our picture of the day from Google Earth, and this one you might not recognize. I found this the other day when I was taking a close look at the Chatham Islands. This is the Chatham Islands. It is not far from the airport. I'm not 100% sure if this is fresh water or salt water or maybe a combination of both. It looks like a lagoon, but the sea here, when you actually zoom in even closer, you can see that the waves do come over and into it. So what an amazing shape. Beautiful part of the world. Hard to believe that that is the Chatham Islands, because in your head, I guess you imagine, a lot of us like I do, that it's a windswept rocky place, which it is in some parts of it, but not this area. Beautiful looking photo from the Chatham Islands. All right, let's move on now to our weather across the country, and look at this. The minimum departure from normal overnight tonight shows the whole country pretty much colder than average, including our friends over here at the Chatham Islands. You're also dropping a few degrees below normal. That's because of the southerly change we've just had and the incoming high pressure, which sort of locks it in overnight tonight. So there will be some frosts around. Here is the 3-day rainfall coming up for the country. This goes through until Monday morning, so it covers Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Clearly the west coast down here around Fiordland, well up over 100 millimetres, 150 millimetres potentially. Fiordland and the west coast actually leaning wetter than average for the next several days ahead. But most other places are not. Southland's probably one of the only areas that's got kind of normal rainfall coming up, as does around the Westport area. Most other places, you're only seeing in the blue and the yellow and the green a few showers coming in for most of you. And these areas in yellow, most of those showers are coming in right now for Friday. Now, let's get into the wind map. So we've got that southerly change blowing in around the North Island. That's the reason why tonight is going to be colder everywhere though, because it just passed over the South Island. Now you've got high pressure locking it in. So that's the reason why frosty weather tonight. -3s around places like Canterbury and Marlborough. Into the North Island, I think there'll be a number of places in the low single digits. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, spread across many areas. Although eastern areas will be warmer. Not by day, but by night, you'll be warmer with that southerly blowing through for you. So Saturday looks like this. There's the high pressure, light winds through many areas in the middle here, so that's the reason why the temperatures will drop. Hard to know if the winds will drop just enough to let the frost come in, so it's borderline. Keep an eye on the frost forecaster at ruralweather.co.nz. It's the only public one in New Zealand, and for now, for this year anyway, it's completely free to access. So go and check that out at ruralweather.co.nz if you're looking for frosts. Also has a fog forecaster in there as well, which I get crossed between the two all the time and say frog forecaster, and someone said that on Twitter the other day. So if you ever see a frog forecaster appear at Weather Watch, it'll be fog plus frost, because someone keeps saying it wrong. Side note, let's move on. Sunday, high pressure to the north. Now that will be changing the airflows. It encourages a warmer airflow on Sunday, returning to the South Island. So frosty weather not looking as likely on Sunday because it'll be windier, and there'll be rain arriving over on the west coast. And that west coast rain gets bigger next week. So on Monday, you can see here the winds are picking up, the rain is pushing in. As I say, Fiordland and Westland are leaning wetter than average for the next 7 days ahead. But with high pressure up here, the north of the country is leaning drier than average for the next week ahead. So Aucklanders, you still have to conserve water. I think you're going to have to for another month or two, unless we get a big rainmaker. And if we don't, you could be conserving water right through summer and into 2021. So we need rain to come back, and it's not coming back just yet. So you have to conserve your water. Down the island, obviously, the winds will be picking up, so there could be some wind warning issued on Monday as well. Into Tuesday, it's still another windy day. Some areas the winds might not be quite as bad because there's a little bit of a sort of a breather maybe for some northern areas. As that high goes further off into the subtropics, it sort of lets the winds expand out a wee bit and not quite so blustery for some of you, although for others in the north, you'll get a few showers coming through and a bit of a cooler sou'wester. And then we get to the middle of next week, and that's probably the peak of this system as it blows on through. Showers right across the country, although you'll notice eastern areas have got long dry spells. It'll be wintry around Southland, it'll be wintry around coastal Otago, and on the west coast it'll be wet, there'll be snow in the mountains. But I have to say, before I finish, by Thursday that high is moving along like this, and there's warm northerlies, subtropical maybe even, returning to parts of New Zealand. So typical spring weather is on the way. That's all from me. Have a great weekend. I'll see you again next week.